Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of the Endpoint Pulse Marketing Podcast. I'm your host Zoheb and I'm joined by my partner in crime, Manish. Hey, what's up, man?
Hey man, thanks for having me.
Tell me a bit about yourself. So, what kind of podcast do you listen to? For our listeners to get to know you better.
So, my name is Manish and I'm with the Unified Endpoint Management team at Manage Engine. I personally like listening to true crime podcasts and also tech podcasts. What about you?
Well, I listen to a bit of self improvement and business podcasts as well.
Cool.
Folks, I've got the perfect co host over here. Cyber attacks are none less than true crime documentaries themselves, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Anyways, in this episode, we would be talking about what is going on with phishing, incidents about phishing, tips and tricks to stay secure, and quite a bit of banter. So, what are we waiting for?
Let's dive right in.
Have you ever wondered why phishing is called phishing or like cyber attacks that steal data are called phishing?
I guess the concept resembles real life fishing, right? Like fishing in the lake and so on.
Yeah, I guess there is a definite analogy over here. So the victim, which would be the fish, would get lured by the attacker, who would be the fisherman, with some sort of compelling content, which would be the bait. And eventually, this is going to lead to the victim's data being stolen. So, before getting into the details of phishing and the incidents related to phishing, let us first define what is phishing, right? For our listeners who have no idea of what is phishing, I think this would be really useful.
So, to put it in plain and simple words, phishing is a type of cyber attack where attackers try to steal sensitive data such as usernames, passwords, credit card details, or any other personal data by disguising themselves as a trustworthy source. They often use emails, text messages, or fake websites in some cases that could appear legitimate, but the catch is they aren't. And this is especially to lure victims into providing their information.
All right, I have some data on phishing for you now. So, this is completely going to blow your mind. Did you know that 1.84 billion phishing emails are sent on an everyday basis?
That is a staggering number. I did not know it was that big. So what is the click rate? How many people are clicking on phishing emails or such links?
So the click rate is about 25%, and spear phishing has a click rate of about 53%. The Netherlands, United States, and Russia are the most targeted countries for phishing.
I mean, of course, it's one of the most common cyber attacks with which the threat actor enters your network. Phishing would definitely lead to more attacks and further exploitation. Let me guess, the most targeted industry would be financial institutions, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. About 30% of all the phishing attacks are on the banking industry and the financial sectors.
Now that we have understood what phishing is and seen or heard a few stats about it, let's move on to a real world incident.
See, we often assume that large scale cyber attacks are the result of, sophisticated methods, right? Like the ones that are planned for months together and are so complex to comprehend.
But in reality, it's something very simple.
It is as simple as a phishing email that can compromise the entire network of an organization.
So, India's defense network was recently put to test by a cyber attack called Operation Flight Night. This has targeted communication, energy, and defense sectors. The attackers had sent emails which resembled official Air Force communication, leading to victims falling for the cyber attack. The email just contained a PDF attachment.
Yeah, the true danger was within the PDF attachment, right? The seemingly harmless PDF attachment.
Yeah, so clicking this attachment triggered a malware that silently and stealthily collected sensitive data like web browser information, confidential emails, employee details, and other classified documents. According to a popular cybersecurity website, Hacker News, the stolen data was close to be a massive 8.8 GB in size and later was uploaded to attacker controlled channels. Most likely, when such an attack happens, the obvious is that it would be used for further exploitation or be even put to sale on the dark web.
This is a very scary incident, and this raises definite questions about security, very serious ones. And this could have been any organization or business, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
That being said, give us some tips on how to stay safe from phishing.
All right, so there are a few ways, few basic ways with which you can stay safe. The first and foremost one is, were you expecting this email? So, is this from some individual or any service that you are very familiar with?
Right.
So, never open attachments, especially PDFs from unknown senders. Always be wary of attachments and verify the sender's email address for any inconsistencies. If you get a weird domain address, for example, ours would be manageengine.com, but if you get something like John Doe at blipblip.com or something you have never heard of, or it's way too long, just do not click on that, or you could be phished. You could also try to hover before you click, like you just have the link right there and you can just hover over it. Also, phishing emails often mask sender information. So, hovering over the sender's name can reveal the true email address rather than the sender name or the detail that shows up on the browser or in the email inbox.
Okay. A lot of cyber attacks start with phishing, right?
Yeah, a lot of them do. We as humans are always going to be the weakest link.
I mean, nobody is going to be giving you a free iPhone, right? Or even for that matter, a free trip to Bangkok. So please do not fall for such emails, guys. We tend to react very emotionally to these emails, and we are always behind instant gratification. I mean, we need a separate podcast if you are going to talk about instant gratification. Okay, so what if I click on it? So, what if I click on the phishing email? What happens next?
The best thing to do is to report it, go out there to the relevant authorities, report any suspicious activity. The best way basically is to get help. We do not know how serious this could be.
Getting help is probably the best solution out there. And besides, you don't want a whole organization to struggle just because you were hesitant to get help, right?
Yeah, damage control is important.
Yes, and I could not stress on this anymore. Get help, guys.
All right, these general tips can be good first line of defense against phishing attacks. However, a dedicated security solution is essential to securing your devices. This is what would keep the end user completely safe from phishing.
Okay, now let me ask you this because you brought it up. How could have things turned out if there was a dedicated security solution in place?
Well, for starters, if the user had clicked on the malicious PDF attachment, a solution with something like malware detection could have detected and prevented the malware from infiltrating into the system. You could have stopped it right there. This could have stopped the malware from stealing the data.
I think real time scanning could have also helped, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Real time scanning would have continuously monitored the system for any type of suspicious activity. This could have potentially detected the malware even if it had managed to bypass the initial attachment check. And of course, a solution with web protection or, let's say, browser security could have warned the user before downloading suspicious attachments like PDFs from unknown senders. This could have prompted the user to be cautious before opening the attachment.
All right, guys, those were some great tips and it was very informative. I'm sure you guys found this episode useful. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you, Manish, and I hope to see you soon.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks a lot.